Hi, I'm David Sciplin with Coldwell Banker, and today I'm here with Bryan Russell
Yes, sir.
from First Bank. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
So, to be a little bit honest, we did this once before, and I had some issues with some audio. So, thank you for coming back and doing this again with us.
I was great in it, by the way.
He was
amazing.
awesome. It was an awesome video, but for the people out there that are doing this, sometimes
Technology. What can you do?
stuff happens. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, real quick. I've been in the real estate industry since I graduated 1995. And most of that time has been in mortgage lending. I've gone through all different iterations of mortgage lending, from building and operating my own mortgage brokerage, moved into the mortgage banking arena, worked for direct lenders. First Bank is a $9 billion bank out of the Midwest. That's where currently I do all my origination volume through.
Okay.
I run a team here locally, so I have some loan officers that report up to me, and then I have my real estate partners that I work with that I service their buyer clients.
So right now, our market is crazy to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's basically selling. There's very little on the market for sale. We've had some conversations that we're going to do a little bit later about the forecasting for next year. But what are you seeing right now as far as getting people into loans?
Yeah, it's very interesting. The beginning of last year, beginning of 2023, I saw a large number of buyers coming to me to get pre-approved. Ton of activity, ton of interest in buying. About halfway into the year, I saw it starting to slow down. And if you notice, rates had really gone up last year. And so I think what happened is that motivation to buy in the beginning of the year at a set interest rate, when that rate had gone up and their potential payment had gone up, I think it took a lot of people out of the market. I think it discouraged, some of the more motivated first-time buyers were realizing that as that payment went up, it was just beyond their comfort level. And so I saw a lot of them fall to the side. Now the borrowers that are coming to me to get pre-approved, they're buying for a very specific need. They need to buy, they want to buy, they have the cash in savings to buy, and they have qualifying income that they can get approved for these loans right now, even at the higher interest rates, knowing that at some point here in the near future, rates will come down and they can always just refinance.
Right. Because right now sellers aren't doing a whole lot, so we're seeing a shift in that market. But there's still properties out there for sale. If buyers come in, there's always a way for them to get into a home. So when a buyer comes to you, how do you relate to buyers basically? What's your process for getting them through the process?
That's a great question, and it's funny because my process is the exact same whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you're a highly seasoned investor client. It's a methodical process. I'm very old school. Mm-hmm. So my initial, for example, when you refer me over a client, say, Bryan, this guy's interested in getting pre-approved, I'll start with an introductory call just to get to know them. I call it my discovery call. Spend maybe 10, 15 minutes max with the client just so I understand, are they self-employed? What's the game plan? What's their timeline? That gives me enough insight that I can then structure my next step that's more intelligently based, right? So this is a self-employed borrower. He's been doing this for a long time. His wife has a part-time job, blah, 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 whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So then I can execute what my needs list is going to be specific to their scenario. So I'm not going to send out that blanket template that everybody wants to do or here, push them to an online application and let me know when you finish it. I completely load that process. I don't like that.
Okay.
Mine's very hands-on. So I will send over specifically what I need based on my discovery call with them. When I get that documentation back, then what I do is I organically build their application. I know how an application is supposed to look. I think it's so ridiculous to put that responsibility on a borrower who's probably only filled out an application twice or three times in their life for a mortgage. Why would I expect them to be very comfortable doing that? So I collect their data. I'll build their application out organically. That way I can really see the ins and outs of this borrower, understand what potentially is a speed bump, mm-hmm. or what I can eliminate because it's going to make the flow work better for underwriting. So I do that. I tell most of my realtor partners that I don't do a pre-qual. I don't even do a pre-approval. What I do is a pre-underwrite. And so I'll address this file as if I was the underwriter. And the only thing the underwriter needs to do when they get the file from me after that stage is to validate my numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it allows for me to eliminate a lot of landmines and speed bumps that the borrower would run into down the road. I eliminate all that stuff in the beginning. So it's organized, it's efficient, but it's also very intense in the beginning. Everything I need, kind of like a doctor. Doctor's going to do a full review of you, right? And then they're going to assert their assessment. They're not going to maybe check your arm today, and then next week they'll check your leg, and that's a very sloppy process. And so when I do it this way, we have a clear direction, and then ultimately the experience for the borrower is phenomenal at that point.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's all about that, and that's actually a really good process, and I don't hear that from a lot of lenders. Yeah. So that's a very efficient way to make sure they get what they need.
I think so.
So the basic question that people like to ask basically is, how long does it take you to get through the initial process on average?
And I always respond to that question because I get that question every single time. I respond back as quick as you give me what I need. Yeah. So
makes a lot of sense.
If I have everything I need to do my job, I can issue a pre-approval to a borrower within 24 hours. If you needed to make an offer at the end of the day and I get everything in the beginning of the day, I'll have you ready.
Okay.
So it's on the borrower. But I always have to remind myself that this is what we do for a living. I do loans for a living, so I'm ready to do a loan at the drop of a dime. My clients, they have other jobs. They got a job to do, they got a family, and it's not always their priority. And so I try to work within their timeline to keep them moving along.
Yeah.
Help them, take the next steps. Otherwise, sometimes they just get isolated and can't paralysis through analysis type of thing.
Yeah. And I always recommend to my clients that they talk to a lender 3 to 6 months before they're ready. That way, if there's issues with their credit they need to fix, or if there's issues with their bank, they need to make sure the money's in the right place. You have time to actually take care of that.
100%.
And the shorter period of time that they give you, especially if they already looking for homes, they find the perfect house that they want to buy. They don't have their work done because in our market, if they don't have at least a pre-approval, I can't put a purchase contract in.
Yeah, that's the truth. And not only that, but giving yourself enough time to go through the initial process. And a client doesn't know what they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
So they don't really know all the questions. They can go online and they can say, what question you go, AI and say, what do I ask my loan officer? And they're going to get a series of questions. But until they really get into the process and things start coming up, then those questions begin to develop. And giving yourself time to get those questions answered, understand what you're having to go through, understand what the process is going to be, it makes the experience so much better. I say this to my first-time home buyers. And I picked up buyers from other situations. They had an issue with their existing lender. They get referred over to me, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. A first-time home buyer should be having the time of their life. Right. I know it's a scary process. I remember the first time I bought my place, and I was in the industry, and I still was overwhelmed with the process. And this is what I did for a living, which when you think about that, and then you think about somebody who doesn't do this for a living, I can imagine it's like walking through a tunnel of fog. Well, it could be, a little nerve-wracking, could be a little intimidating, but it doesn't have to be unfun. And so I think understanding the process, being guided through the process by someone that knows what they do from top to bottom can actually help the experience, really gain traction and be much better.
Well, basically what you're saying is taking an emotional process and giving it to a professional that can calm the situation down and make sure it goes through smoothly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you?
A variety of ways. I'm all over social media. So, my Instagram, Bryan Knows Lending, okay. Bryan with a Y. Bryan Russell Mortgage Broker. That's on my Facebook. You can find me anywhere. Call David. Call Greg. Google Bryan Russell.
Later on that one. So I'll put all your links in the
sure, thank you.
in the description below.
Yeah, and like any professional in this business, the cell phone's always on. I get it. Real estate transactions don't always happen between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And so you accommodate. You do what you have to do for your clients so that they can get the outcome that they're looking for.
Yep. So thank you much for showing up.
Always good seeing you, Dave.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And please like and subscribe to this channel. The more you guys do that, look at the camera over there. The more you guys do that, the more we'll be able to provide this kind of content for you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
You.